Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 40 based on novel. So let's start. Lord Luoh? The super large Legion mechanical secret treasure observed the inconspicuous small cave, but felt a little afraid. Uncle Master, the sect leader has already issued an order that the cave of Lord Luoh should not be touched, said the disciple. I know. Don't be fooled by the fact that the Shin'ing sect's army is so powerful and overbearing at this moment, wantonly invading caves one after another. But before they left the Food Kingdom, they had already found out the details of Huyang City, and they knew the owners of every cave in Chaos Area A. Chaos Cave number 913 had long been on their list as a cave that could not be invaded. I am the owner of the Yunbao Towers branch in Huyang City. Do you want to occupy my cave? The owner of Yunbao Tower has a huge single eye. He angrily scolded the disciples from Shin'ing sect who came here. An oversized mechanical secret treasure that was patrolling the surroundings in the sky immediately looked at him, and a cold voice rang out, Master Yunbao of the Huyang City branch, if you don't want to die, get out now. The owner of Yunbao Tower looked up and met the gaze of the super-large mechanical secret treasure. He couldn't help but tremble in his heart and could only feel unwilling. He lowered his head and said, Okay, I'll move it now. With a wave of his hand, he put away some commonly used items in the cave, took away 2 old servants, and then flew away alone without caring about the other subordinates. Those subordinates were also scared and quickly fled the cave. I am Chiu Shisan, the vice president of the Huyang City branch of Qianxia Chamber of Commerce. A stern old man looked around. You want to invade my cave? Vice President Chiu. A super-large plant life slowly descended, its voice much gentler. Don't make things difficult for us. If you continue to live here, you will be easily affected if a war breaks out in the future. What do you think? The cold old man looked at the other party. In terms of background, apart from the most transcendent Yangfeng Guild in Huyang City, the next most powerful one is the Qianxia Guild. We won't destroy the business of Qianxia Chamber of Commerce, but you, the eternal true gods of Qianxia Chamber of Commerce, should not get involved in the war. The super-large plant life still persuaded patiently. The stern old man understood that if the Chamber of Commerce branch was destroyed, the headquarters might be furious. But they, the eternal true gods, have their caves invaded, and this is such a small matter that they are not qualified to report it to the headquarters. Qianxia Chamber of Commerce, with business spread across many countries. A large city branch is insignificant. Moreover, the several god kings behind the Qianxia Chamber of Commerce are unwilling to easily get involved in the dispute between the Sha Kingdom and the Yu Kingdom. Okay, I'll move. The stern old man could only swallow his anger. Luoh Feng brought Morosa, Mo Yuqingyan, and quickly returned to the cave. Wow, it's so lively. Morosa stood on the top of the mountain and looked around. With his strength, he was naturally not affected by the Huyang City formation and could see the conditions of every cave in Chaos Area A. The Shin'ing sect is madly invading the cave. Luoh Feng was also at the top of the mountain, and he also had the leisure to look around, whether it's the local family, the dark forces, or the branches of the big forces with backgrounds. The caves in Chaos Zone A have all been occupied one by one. Master, they didn't occupy our cave. Mo Yuqingyan felt very nervous when he saw the huge flying boat and the super-large mechanical treasures in the air in the distance. Morosa curled his lips. Although they are arrogant, they are still very smart and know who not to mess with. Don't brag, the Shin'ing sect is not easy to mess with. Luoh Feng said with a smile. The dispute between Marquis Liu Yin and Marquis Jiang. There's no need to get involved. For me, the most important thing is growth. The 3 oldest rulers of the Sha Kingdom are his biggest enemies. Brother Luoh He. Lord Huyang contacted Luoh Feng with the help of a communication order. The city lord is looking for me, is there something? Luoh Feng took out the summons. Brother Luoh He also saw that the Shin'ing sect suddenly attacked Huyang City. They are too powerful, and my city lord's mansion can't resist them at all. The Huyang City Lord delivered the message. The Marquis will soon dispatch forces to support us, and the most important thing now is to defend the City Lord's mansion. The City Lord's mansion. It is the core of the entire Huyang city. The three forbidden areas are important, they are related to the Huyang city formation. However, the City Lord's mansion is the core of Huyang city, supergiant mechanical city, and it can unleash terrifying power. Even if the Xinjiang sect is so powerful that they want to attack the City Lord's mansion, there will be some casualties. City Lord, how can I, alone, resist a huge sect like Xinjiang sect? Luoh Feng sent a message. I'm not strong enough. No eternal true God in the entire Yu kingdom can resist the entire Xinjiang sect on his own. But you just need to come to the City Lord's mansion. With your help, we will be able to completely defend the City Lord's mansion. City Lord Huyang sent a message. Hiding in the City Lord's mansion with you guys? Luoh Feng asked. I am just an idle eternal true God. I really don't want to be completely involved. If I, an eternal true God, get involved in the dispute between Marquis Liu Yin and Marquis Zhejiang, I might die at any time. You don't need to worry. In the conflict between the two countries, the Lord of Chaos will not bully the weak. The Lord of Huyang City sent a message. As long as you are willing to help, any conditions are negotiable. Any conditions are fine? Luoh Feng asked. How about 100 million cosmic sands? If you offer the money, I will naturally be willing to help. 100 million cosmic sands? The Lord of Huyang City was a little frightened. This Lord Luoh was really evil. Such a huge amount of wealth is enough to make the Chaos Lord feel distressed. Although the Chaos Lord has a steady stream of income from the bottom, he also needs to support a large number of subordinates, train the younger generations of the tribe, and his own practice also requires various expenses. They generally don't save too much. The key is to spend your savings and improve your own strength. It's already pretty good to be able to carry hundreds of millions of cosmic sands with you. Some Chaos Lords who are living a tight life have almost spent all their income, and it is difficult for them to take out even 100 million cosmic sands immediately. This price is not expensive at all. Luoh Feng said. I will report to the Marquis first. The Lord of Huyang City did not dare to agree. The bounty offered for Lord Blood Cloud was only 10 million cosmic sands. 30 to 50 million cosmic sands are enough to invite the strongest eternal true God of Yu state to join the war. This is the normal market price. Of course, the prerequisite is whether the other party has enough time and is willing to come. You should report to the Marquis first. Luoh Feng said, and the random communication was cut off. This price is not high at all. My strength is even stronger than the strongest eternal true God of Yu country. Luoh Feng said silently. Of course, it is just one level stronger. Although he has a perfect divine body, Luoh Feng only intends to exert the strength of the infinite divine body to the limit state. This is normal logic. After all, there had never been a cultivator with a perfect divine body in the entire origin continent. Once his strength is exposed, it will completely exceed the scope of the eternal true God and will be much stronger than some of the geniuses of the two ancient countries. It is feared that this will arouse suspicion from some ancient beings. My strength must be normal. It's logical and normal. Luoh Feng was very cautious. He was carrying the revenge hopes of his master Swashanka, and the future of the human race. In his small universe alone, there were countless human beings surviving and reproducing. Of course he has to be cautious and not be careless with every step. Master, the surrounding caves have almost been occupied. Morosa looked around. There are only the caves of the 5 major families and the Master's cave left. The Xinjiang sect is indeed acting in a domineering way. Marquis Zhejiang will not just sit there and watch. Luoh Feng said. In the original cave of the Shu clan, this is where the top leaders of the Xinjiang sect temporarily gather. The sect leader and 18 elders gathered here. Master, there are only the caves of the 5 major families and the small cave of Lord Luoh left in Chaos Zone A, said an elder. Should we attack the caves of the 5 major families? No hurry. The three-eyed man looked around at the elders. We now need to appease the two major sources of danger in Huyang City. One is the Yangfeng Guild Hall, and the other is Luoh, her divine monarch. All 18 elders are listening. The Yangfeng Guild was jointly established by the most powerful forces in the ancient Yangfeng country. No matter how far the war goes, we must maintain respect for the Yangfeng Guild. We cannot give them any reason to interfere, said the three-eyed man. Clear. Only a madman would provoke the Flame Wind Guild. The 18 elders all knew that the Yangfeng Guild would not interfere in the disputes of other countries, but the Yangfeng Guild would not tolerate provocation. Anyone who dared to provoke would face much more terrible consequences than provoking the Zhu Yuan Great Sage. They had offended the Great Sage Zhu Yuan before, causing 1 death and 2 escapes of the 3 Chaos Realm Masters of Xinjiang Sect, and the Sect declined. If they provoke the Yangfeng Guild, there will be no escape. The king of the food country will probably take action personally, capture them alive, and send them to the Yangfeng Guild for disposal. I will visit the Yangfeng Guild Hall in person, said the three-eyed man. The Flame Wind Guild Hall has the most terrifying background in the city, and the most powerful person in the city is Lord Luoh. According to the plan, Elder Xinyan will visit them. Leave it to me, said the blind elder calmly. As they both have extremely deep accumulations in realm, the many inheritances cultivated by the blind elder are much stronger than those of the Blood Cloud Lord. Remember, don't make enemies. The three-eyed man looked at the blind elder. Don't worry, I know what to do. The blind elder nodded. No way. The 18th elder and the other elders did not dare to visit Lord Luoh. I was afraid that if I disagreed with him, I would be killed by Luoh God. If we simply send the incarnation of divine power to visit, it would seem disrespectful. Therefore, it is most appropriate to send the elder with heart and eyes. When the Heart Shadow Sect was complete, it ruled over the 3 chaos states, and the elder Heart Eye was the most powerful eternal true god. After the sect declined, Elder Xinyan traveled around the origin continent and continued to practice until now, and his accumulation has become even deeper. Soon, the blind elder brought 2 disciples and quietly came to the outside of Luoh Feng's cave. Chaos A Cave number 913. The blind elder looked at the cave. A disciple beside him went to knock on the door, and when he knocked, an invisible wave spread out. The disciple also said, "The Heart Eye Elder of the Heart Shadow Sect has come to visit Lord Luoh." Soon, the door opened. Mo Yu Qingyang smiled and said, "My master is waiting for you all." The blind elder looked up. He could sense a terrifying aura from the top of the mountain not far away. It is truly the infinite divine body. Even the blind elder could sense the mighty and powerful aura, as if it was endless. Every time the blind elder faced the infinite divine body, he felt very complicated. He was born in a humble family and practiced the path of blood in his early years. Even though he gradually showed brilliant talent later on, his divine body was ultimately inferior to the infinite divine body. Even with the various resources from the Xinjiang sect, and his bloodline being strong enough, he was still a step weaker than the infinite divine body. It is very rare to find a freak like Yu Qianhu, whose divine body is of the same bloodline but can rival the infinite divine body. So what if there is an infinite divine body? There is more than one infinite divine body that has been defeated by me. The blind elder took a step forward. In no time, they had reached the top of the mountain, and his 2 disciples followed immediately. Luoh Feng sat in front of the pavilion on the top of the mountain, drinking leisurely, and watched a blind man walk in with 2 disciples. Luoh Feng could sense the restrained aura and the endless sharpness hidden in this blind man. Even Luoh Feng was slightly frightened. His hidden infinite edge actually threatens my realm of life and death. The realm of life and death is an invisible realm formed by the integration of Luoh Feng's 3 chaos realm techniques of life and death. "Xinyan, hello to Lord Luoh," said the blind elder, and the 2 disciples behind them saluted respectfully. "I've heard of Elder Xinyan's great name a long time ago. Please take a seat," Luoh Feng said with a smile. The blind elder sat down and 2 disciples stood behind him. Mo Yu Qingyang personally delivered fruits and fine wine. "Please." Luoh Feng held up the wine glass. The blind elder also poured himself a glass of wine. For powerful practitioners, their eyes could be trained to be very powerful, but being blind would still not affect their ability to observe all around. There are even many practitioners whose spiritual bodies, whether in gas or liquid form, do not have eyes. Please. The blind elder also raised his glass and drank a glass of wine before smiling. Before I came to Huyang City, I had heard of the great name of Lord Luoh. General Yonghu of the capital of the Kingdom of Yu could not defeat Lord Shuiyin even with the help of the Huyang City formation. But Lord Luoh, you killed Yu Qianhu, Yu Qianni, and Lord Shuiyin who escaped outside the city overnight. The Lord's strength is indeed above that of General Yonghu. General Yonghu was just concerned about the people in the city. He was afraid that too many people would be affected, so he let the blood cloud escape. Luoh Feng said. The scenes of the fight between Yonghu and Shuiyun are all sold to the public at Yangfeng Guildhall, said the blind elder. Everyone can see that Blood Cloud's strength is unfathomable, which makes my Xinjiang sect admire Lord Luoh even more. The sect master has already issued an order that, after arriving in Huyang City, we must not offend the Lord. Master, you are too polite. Luoh Feng said with a smile. Mo Yu Qingyang, who was standing aside serving, pricked up his ears and listened carefully. Never offend the master? This Xinjiang sect is indeed afraid of the master. This time, the Xinjiang sect came to Huyang City to seek a place to survive. The elder sighed. It is so difficult for a sect to survive. Luoh Feng, listen. In order to survive, we, the disciples of Xinjiang sect, are willing to do anything at all costs, said the blind elder. Please understand the Heart Shadow sect and not interfere in its affairs. Ha ha. Luoh Feng laughed. I am not from the official Yu kingdom, nor from your Shi kingdom. I am just an idle cultivator. As for who I will help? Alas! We idle cultivators are all struggling for resources. If there are enough resources to hire me, how can I refuse? Luoh Feng understood what the other party meant. The other party hopes to get Luoh Feng's promise not to interfere in the conflict in Huyang City. Enough resources to hire, said the blind elder. How much does it cost to hire Lord Luoh? I treat everyone equally. Yu State has given me a lot of benefits a long time ago, and I haven't agreed to help. Luoh Feng said. If Xinjiang Men wants to hire me, it only takes 200 million cosmic sands. 200 million cosmic sands? The blind elder's face twitched. What a bold offer. Luoh Feng watched from the side. After all, the king of Yu State gave him a leaf of Shuyang Mother Tree, and Lord Zhujiang also gave him 10 million universe sands as a token of gratitude. This was all friendship. The offer from the Yu State is 100 million cosmic sands, which is considered a friendly price. It is only natural to offer 200 million cosmic sands to Xinjiang Men. If Xinjiang sect agrees to such a high price and the news gets out, the Yu kingdom will have nothing to say. After all, Luoh Feng gave them half price. I'm just an idle practitioner. I'll help whoever gives me resources. I believe Elder Xinyan will understand. Luoh Feng looked at the other party. The conversation between Luoh Feng and the blind elder. The two disciples behind the blind elder and Mo Yu Qingyang were all a little trembling when they heard it. 200 million cosmic sands? What a huge fortune! I understand. Even for disciples of our sect, it is not easy to obtain resources, said the blind elder. I have traveled the world and challenged powerful men from all sides. With such great strength, Lord God, can we have a fight? Sparring? Luoh Feng nodded. Okay. The blind elder felt the other party's confidence and nodded immediately. I'll arrange a more spacious place. Just stay in my cave. Luoh Feng said. It's just a sparring match. This big place is enough. I'm afraid it will destroy the god's cave, said the blind elder again. You don't have to pay for it if it breaks. Luoh Feng stood up with a smile. Your Majesty is truly magnanimous. The blind elder also stood up. The two disciples behind him and Mo Yu Qingyang beside him all became a little nervous. In an empty space in Luo Feng's cave, Luo Feng and the blind elder were facing each other from a distance. Morosa, Mo Yu Qingyang and two disciples from Xinjiang Sect were watching at the corner of the cave. Please. Luo Feng looked at the other party with a smile. The blind elder flipped his hand and a black spike appeared in his hand. At first glance, this black spike looked ordinary, with a restrained luster, and even no secret pattern could be seen. Because it was just a sparring match, neither side burned their divine power and their auras were very restrained. This Lord Luoh still wants to sway between the two forces, and he asks for 200 million cosmic sands right at his first words? If he were to realize the difference in strength, he would be much more obedient, the blind elder said secretly. Be careful, my lord, said the blind elder, and as he spoke, the black spike in his hand stabbed forward. This stab, in fact, pierced out the field of birth and death that had already spread all around. Luo Feng's field of life and death covered the entire cave. After the blind elder stabbed, the field of life and death was heavily blocked. The field of birth and death is a combination of 3 Chaos Realm moves. After it appears, it is like a vast Tai Chi cloud rotating. It is several times more powerful than pure control chaos. Tear. The blind elder's stab forcibly penetrated the barrier of the life and death field, causing the air to tear apart and the air waves to roll. The sharp thorn had already pierced Luo Feng's robe. Luo Feng still stood there without moving. A layer of grey protective robe appeared on the surface of his robe. It was the 2 Chaos Realm moves that condensed the field of life and death and combined it with the law of chaos. The 5 moves combined into one, forming a protective chaos robe. Although he is not as good as Lord Blood Cloud, he combined 9 moves into one to form the Blood Cloud formation. The field of life and death and the chaos robe are only some of the methods that Luo Feng has comprehended in the past 5 epochs. This stab actually forcibly penetrated Luo Feng's grey chaotic robe and pierced Luo Feng's skin. The perfect divine body that had been refined 3 times was finally pierced through the skin, and a little bloody red dot appeared. The blind elder stepped back instantly, somewhat incredulous. Awesome, awesome. Elder Sinyan's casual stab can break through my domain and protective robes, and even hurt me. Luo Feng exclaimed. The blind elder felt the pressure. I practiced the God King level inheritance, 6 absolutes of destruction, with 7 Chaos Realm moves, and completely integrated them according to the inheritance to perform this stab. The blind elder was secretly shocked. I have encountered infinite divine bodies before, and this stab was enough to severely injure them. But facing Lord Luoh, it was barely enough to scratch his skin. It seems like an ordinary stab, but it is one of the blind elder's deadly moves that he uses to dominate the world. Lord God, please try this trick of mine, said the blind elder. After he finished speaking, his figure blurred in an instant. He split into 13 figures in an instant, and each of them stabbed out. The power of each stab seemed terrifying, but when the 13 stabs combined into one, the power was truly earth-shaking. Boom! This convergence of black thorns surprised Luo Feng a little. As expected of a disciple of the Divine King Sect, your moves are truly mysterious. You use so many moves to form a formation to attack with a combined force. It's not enough to just rely on the protective robes to resist. You have to show some real skills. Facing the terrifying blow that shook the world, Luo Feng stretched out his left hand. Boom! His arm suddenly swelled, and his palm became even bigger, as if covering the sky. Luo Feng's 5 fingers, each of them contained a 2-color vortex, and the entire palm was like a chaotic world. Bang! When that terrifying stab collided with Luo Feng's palm, the power collided and destroyed, strangling each other madly. On one hand, there are moves recorded in the God King level inheritance. Disciples only need to practice according to the steps to continuously increase their own foundation and get closer and closer to the Chaos Realm. On the other hand, he faced the origin of life and the mystery of the origin of destruction and integrated the two into one, and also integrated the perception of chaos. This is also one of Luo Feng's 6 killer moves, the 10 Directions Nirvana Palm. if the 10 directions infinite swords in the 9 swords to break the world were purely defensive. However, this 10 directions Nirvana palm is an offensive palm technique, and it is a combination of 10 Chaos Realm moves into one, performed with the palm of a perfect divine body that has been refined 3 times. One of Luoh Feng's real killer moves. Luoh Feng had to hold back a bit, because if he used too much force, it would go beyond the realm of the eternal true God. Luoh Feng had already set requirements for himself, there was no need to hide his realm accumulation. After all, the outside world also believed that he was very close to the Chaos Realm. But the power of the perfect divine body must be restrained. Even if he converged to the power of infinite divine body, he was still able to suppress this blind elder. The 10 directions Nirvana palm, although a fusion of 10 moves and still a bit crude, is no less powerful than the blind elder's killing formation. Bang! The terrifying stab was finally shattered and completely destroyed under the crushing of Luoh Feng's huge palm. This scene frightened the blind elder. This Luoh, he is an infinite divine body of the Luoh lineage. And his accumulation of realm is even above mine. The blind elder confirmed this instantly. If he was cultivating through the bloodline system, with this much accumulation, he would have already reached the Chaos Realm. Elder Sun Yan's formation technique is quite powerful. Luoh Feng praised. I have been forced to use my ultimate move. Does Elder Sun Yan have any other tricks? There's no need to compare. I'm indeed not as good as Lord Luoh, said the blind elder. This exchange has really broadened my horizons. Lord Luoh, I will take my leave now. I will also tell the Sect master about the hiring price you mentioned. Okay. Luoh Feng smiled and nodded. The blind elder turned around and left immediately with his 2 disciples. During this battle, the cave was always shrouded in the realm of life and death. The blind elder did not burn his divine power and intentionally restricted the range, so the cave was still intact. Only in the open area where the battle took place, some potholes appeared on the ground. With just a thought, the ground was quickly repaired. Master, this elder with a kind heart is quite strong, said Morosa. It should be stronger than Blood Cloud. Well, Blood Cloud's formation is still relatively crude, while Elder Sun Yan's killing move is more natural and more powerful. Luoh Feng nodded. As expected of a Divine King level sect. Although I also have the inheritance of the second vein Divine King. My dear master, Swarshanka is a Divine King of the weapon refining lineage, but there is not a single Divine King inheritance that suits him. The 3 generations of ancestors of the Duandonga lineage left behind 3 kinds of God King level inheritances, namely, Duanmi, Donghua, and Bisihi, but they are all auxiliary methods. There is no way. No matter whether it is Master Swarshanka or the 3 generations of ancestors, they have only just entered the level of God King. This is also the reason why they ended up like that. One of them escaped into the cosmic ocean, and the other died completely. Strength is the foundation. Elder Sun Yan, how about you go and visit Lord Luoh? The leader of the Xinjiang sect had already returned from visiting the Yangfeng Hall. I heard you sparred with him. I asked him not to interfere, but he asked for a hiring price of 200 million cosmic sands, said the blind elder with a frown. So I can only follow the backup plan and spar with him to make him feel the pressure. But this time, his divine body is stronger than mine, and even his realm is stronger than mine. Feng Yuqi, the leader of Xinjiang sect, could not help but say, both ancestors said that Elder Sun Yan has accumulated enough knowledge and only needs a little opportunity to break through. His realm is actually higher than yours? Although it is higher, it is still at the same level, said the blind elder. Once I lead all the disciples and control the mechanical secret treasure Heart Demon Kite, I will be able to rival Naroha. The God King who founded the Xinjiang sect originally customized 13 mechanical secret treasures according to his own heritage as the sect's inheritance treasures. However, after so many years, only 7 of the 13 town gates mechanical treasures remain, and the Heart Demon Kite is one of them. When the God King established his sect, he left behind many means. It's just that the Xinjiang sect is constantly declining, and its means are becoming fewer and fewer. This video will end here.